What Old Testament prophecies are fulfilled in the New? Imagine reading a mystery novel and realizing that clues from the beginning point directly to the ending. That's what cross-referencing does with the Bible. It helps us see how Old Testament prophecies connect to what happens in the New Testament. Many prophecies about the coming Messiah were written hundreds of years before Jesus was born. When we compare these Old Testament verses with New Testament accounts, it's like piecing together a divine puzzle. For example, Isaiah predicted that a virgin would conceive and give birth to a son called Emmanuel, which means God with us. When the angel told Mary she would have Jesus through the Holy Spirit, it fulfilled Isaiah's prophecy. Micah said the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem, and that's exactly where Jesus was born, fulfilling that prophecy. Hosea spoke of God's son coming out of Egypt, and Jesus' family fled to Egypt to escape King Herod, then returned, fulfilling Hosea's words. The Old Testament also predicted the lineage of the Messiah. Genesis and 2 Samuel mention that he would come from Abraham's family, through Isaac and King David. The genealogies in Matthew and Luke trace Jesus' family back to these key figures, confirming his royal and covenantal roots. Isaiah described Jesus starting his ministry in Galilee, a region of darkness, which matches his early ministry in that area. Psalm 22 and Isaiah 53 give detailed descriptions of suffering. Psalm 22 talks about hands and feet being pierced and being mocked, which aligns with Jesus' crucifixion. Isaiah 53 describes a suffering servant who bears the sins of many, which Jesus fulfilled through his death. Psalm 16 and Psalm 60 speak of resurrection and ascending to heaven, which Jesus experienced after his resurrection and ascension. The Old Testament also describes roles that Jesus fulfills. Psalm 110 mentions a priest forever in the order of Melchizedek, which points to Jesus' role as eternal high priest. Exodus describes the Passover lamb whose blood saved Israel from death, and Jesus is called the ultimate Passover lamb in the New Testament, offering salvation through his sacrifice. Psalm 22 also mentions casting lots for his garments, which happened during Jesus' crucifixion. By cross-referencing these prophecies with their New Testament fulfillments, we see a clear pattern of divine planning. It shows that Jesus' life, death, and resurrection were not random but part of a long-standing plan. For Bible study, this method deepens our understanding of Scripture's unity and reliability. Recognizing these connections strengthens faith because it confirms that the Bible is a consistent story from beginning to end. It encourages us to study both testaments together, seeing how they speak to each other and reveal God's plan for salvation.